You don't go silent because you have nothing to say. You go silent because your body decides speaking is unsafe. And the strange part is, you don't even notice when it happens. One moment you're in a conversation, the next moment you're gone. Not angry, not emotional, just disconnected. That's not my personality. That's a nervous system shut down. People think silence is a decision, like you calculated it, like it's a strategy. But what if it is not a strategy at all? What if it's survival? When you get hurt, something subtle happens. Your chest tightens, your throat closes, your thoughts become heavy. It feels like a door quietly locking inside you. That's not my personality, that's physiology. Most people know how to fight. Most people know about flight, but there's a third response. Freeze. When emotions feel too overwhelming, your nervous system slows everything down. Not to avoid, but to prevent collapse. Have you ever tried to explain how you feel, and the words just wouldn't form? It's not stubbornness. During emotional flooding, the part of your brain responsible for language becomes less active. You can feel everything, but you can't translate it. You weren't born silent. At some point, you learned that expressing pain wasn't safe. Maybe you were told you were too sensitive. Maybe your feelings were minimized. Maybe vulnerability was used against you. So your system adapted. Silence became armor. You didn't stop feeling. You just stopped expressing your feelings because showing them cost you something. And your nervous system remembered. But here's the question nobody asks you. When you go quiet, what's actually happening inside? Because it's not empty. It's intensity. You're replaying everything. What did they mean? Did I overreact? Have I felt this before? If I speak now, will I regret it later? You don't speak quickly because you process deeply. And depth takes time. Sometimes silence isn't distant. It's restraint. It's choosing not to speak while your emotions are still sharp enough to cut. Because when pain is raw, words don't just express feelings, they leave damage. And you care enough not to speak while you're still bleeding. But here's something uncomfortable. When you say, just talk to me, you might be shutting them down even more. Because pressure doesn't create safety. It creates a threat. And when something feels like a threat, the nervous system chooses silence, not to punish you, but to survive you. There's a space where communication is possible. When you're calm enough to think, clear enough to speak, outside that space, everything feels overwhelming. You're not avoiding the conversation. You're waiting until you can survive it. But here's something important. If silence becomes your only protection, it can slowly become isolated. Protection turns into distance, and distance turns into loneliness. Not because you don't care, but because you never feel safe enough to risk openness. Yet when you finally speak, you mean every word. You don't throw accusations. You don't weaponize emotion. When you talk, it's not a reaction. It's the conclusion. And that is rare. You are not cold. You are not broken. You are someone whose nervous system learned caution. In a loud world, you move carefully. And being careful is not a weakness. It's deep. One day, you won't need silence as armor. Not because silence was wrong, but because you finally feel safe enough to be seen while you're still processing. That's not fixing yourself. That's healing. If this gave you language for something you've carried quietly, subscribe to the Silent Mindset. This is where quiet minds finally make sense.